In the heart of Korea, a tradition moves with a quiet, almost gentle rhythm. It is a form of movement that appears, at first glance, to be a dance. The people who practice it sway and step with a smooth grace, their arms making soft circles in the air. This is Taekkyeon, an old martial art that is as beautiful as it is strong. It is like a living piece of history, a connection to a past that goes back for hundreds of years. Here, there are no sharp, angry shouts, no stiff, strong blocks. Instead, there is a continuous, flowing motion like a talk between the body and the space around it. The art seems to whisper stories of a time long past, a time of smart people, fighters, and kings. It is a fascinating sight. The feet, wearing simple, soft shoes or bare, glide across the ground in a triangle shape. This basic step, called the pumbalki, creates a constant, gentle movement. From this rhythmic base, all other moves come out. It is a dance of trickery, where a soft, giving movement can suddenly turn into a strong kick or a clear trip. This two-sided nature is the very soul of Taekkyeon. It is a martial art that doesn't use brute strength. It uses timing, balance, and a deep understanding of what an opponent is doing. It is a subtle art, one that has managed to survive through some of the toughest times in Korean history. To watch Taekkyeon is to see something that seems impossible. It is a martial art that looks peaceful, a fight that looks like a friendly game. People who practice it often make playful calls and rhythmic sounds, adding to the almost musical feel of their movements. But hidden inside this playful outside is a very effective way to defend yourself. The kicks, even though they might seem slow and round, are made to hit an opponent's legs, body, and head with surprising power. The hands are not used for punching but for pushing, making someone lose balance and blocking an opponent's attacks, making chances for the strong leg moves that make the art special. This is the secret of Taekkyeon, a gentle dance that holds the power of a storm. This art form moves with the subtlety of nature itself. It is like the wind that bends a tall grass, only to have the grass spring back. It is like the flowing water that wears away a rock over time. Taekkyeon is not about fighting force with force. It is about giving in, changing direction, and using an opponent's own movement against them. This idea is woven into every step, every kick, and every gentle push. As we look into this amazing tradition, we will find out about its old beginnings, see how it almost disappeared, and celebrate how it came back to life in a wonderful way. We will see how this forgotten dance of war has found its rhythm once more in the modern world, showing how strong human culture can be. The story of Taekkyeon begins long, long ago. Its roots are thought to go back to the time of the Three Kingdoms of Korea, a period that started over 2,000 years ago. While clear records are hard to find, old tomb paintings from the Goguryeo Kingdom from the 4th century give us interesting hints. These paintings show people in poses that look a lot like the movements of Taekkyeon. They show men fighting without weapons, their bodies ready in a way that suggests a smooth, kicking style. It is here, painted on the walls of tombs for nobles who died long ago, that we find the earliest whispers of this special Korean martial art. These early ways of fighting were not just for war, they were a big part of life. During this time, different unarmed fighting systems, known together as subak, were practiced. These were not only ways for warriors to defend themselves, but also popular folk games and ways for common people to train their bodies. Festivals and community gatherings would often have contests of strength and skill, where people would test what they could do. Taekkyeon likely grew from these popular traditions, making its moves and ideas better over many generations. It became a distinct art form loved not only for how well it worked, but also for its cultural importance. As the centuries passed and the Goryeo dynasty ended and the Joseon dynasty began, Taekkyeon continued to do well. It was especially popular in the capital city Hanyang, which is now modern-day Seoul. It became a favorite pastime among the common people, a way to settle arguments, to compete in friendly matches, and simply to stay fit. Historical records from the Joseon era mention the art by name, describing it as a game of kicking and tripping. Unlike more military martial arts, Taekkyeon was seen as a sport and a form of play, though its fighting uses were never forgotten. Its dance-like movements made it easy and fun for people from all walks of life. The art was deeply connected to the seasons and the cycle of life in Old Korea. Competitions were often held during the Dano festival in the 5th lunar month, a time of celebration and community games. Villagers would gather to watch the best practitioners compete, their skillful footwork and clever trips a source of great entertainment. These contests were more than just fights, they were social events that brought people together. Taekkyeon was woven into the very fabric of society, a tradition passed down not in formal schools with written books, but from person to person, from teacher to student, in the open yards and village squares of the kingdom. The movements of Taekkyeon are truly special in the world of martial arts. The base is the pumbalbki, or stepping on the triangle footwork. The person practicing constantly shifts their weight in a soft, rhythmic, 3-beat pattern, moving their feet as if drawing a triangle on the ground. This creates a state of constant motion, a gentle swaying that can make an opponent feel uneasy. It is not an aggressive, forward-moving stance. Instead, it is a patient, waiting dance. From this constant rhythm, the person practicing can start an attack or avoid an opponent's move with smooth ease. It is a beautiful and mesmerizing motion, the calm before a sudden clear action. This dance is a clever trick. The gentle swaying hides the practitioner's real plans and makes it hard for an opponent to guess the next move. An arm might be raised in a slow, graceful curve, not as a block, but to block the opponent's view for a moment. A low, sweeping kick might look like a simple, fancy move, but it is meant to make someone lose balance and trip. The main idea is to avoid a direct clash of strength. Taekkyeon teaches its students to be like water, to flow around obstacles, to give into pressure, and to find the easiest way. The hands are used mainly for pushing, pulling, and blocking rather than for hitting. The real power of Taekkyeon is in its kicks. They are not the fast, sharp kicks seen in many other martial arts. Instead, they are strong, arcing kicks that create huge force from the rhythmic motion of the body. There is the hwalgaek, or flying kick, which can hit the opponent's body or head. There is the baltagwi, a kick that uses the side of the foot to hit the opponent's face or neck. And perhaps most famously, there is the gyotchagi, a low kick aimed at the opponent's shin or ankle to break their stance. These moves, when started from the tricky pumbalbki dance, can be incredibly effective and surprising. The goal in a traditional Taekkyeon match is not to hurt, but to outsmart and make someone lose balance. A person wins by making their opponent fall, or by landing a clear kick to the head. This focus on tripping and making someone lose balance rather than on giving strong blows gives the art its game-like quality. The hands, known as sonjil, work together with the feet, known as baljil. A person might use a hand to push an opponent's shoulder, making them shift their weight just enough for a low kick to sweep their supporting leg from under them. It is like a physical chess game, a dance where every step and gesture has a hidden purpose. The long and peaceful history of Taekkyeon faced its biggest danger in the 20th century. During the Joseon dynasty, the art had done well as a folk tradition. However, the rise of a stricter, Confucian way of thinking started to look down on such physical activities among the ruling class. The art became more and more limited to the common people. But the real danger came with the Japanese occupation of Korea, which began in 1910 and lasted for 35 terrible years. The colonial government tried to completely erase Korean culture. They banned speaking the Korean language in schools, forced people to use Japanese names, and stopped traditional arts and customs. During this dark time, practicing any traditional Korean martial art was seen as an act of rebellion. The Japanese authorities actively promoted their own martial arts like judo and kendo, while discouraging and making illegal native Korean practices. Taekkyeon, with its deep roots in Korean folk culture, was a main target for this cultural suppression. To be caught practicing the art could lead to harsh punishment, jail, or worse. The open-air festivals and village competitions that had been the lifeblood of Taekkyeon for centuries disappeared. The art was forced to go into hiding, to retreat into the shadows. The art that had been passed down openly from generation to generation now had to be practiced in secret. Masters could no longer teach large groups of students. The sharing of knowledge became a quiet, whispered thing, passed on to only a trusted few. Many masters, fearing for their safety and the safety of their families, simply stopped practicing altogether. The lively community that had supported Taekkyeon for so long was broken and scattered. The rhythmic steps of the dance of war became silent in the villages and marketplaces of Korea. It seemed as though this ancient tradition was meant to be lost forever. After the end of the occupation in 1945 and the terrible Korean War that followed, the country was focused on rebuilding itself. The fight for national survival left little room for bringing back old traditions. A new wave of modernization and Western influence swept through South Korea. The younger generation was drawn to modern sports and entertainment. The few remaining people who practiced Taekkyeon were now old men, and the art was seen as an old-fashioned relic of a time gone by. It was no longer a part of the popular culture. The flame of Taekkyeon, which had burned for more than 1,000 years, had shrunk to a single flickering spark. In the years after the Korean War, it was thought that Taekkyeon had completely disappeared. The cultural suppression and the chaos of war had seemingly wiped it out. But, in the late 1950s, something amazing happened. The then president of South Korea, Syngman Rhee, watched a martial arts show that included a man named Song Duk-ki. After the show, President Rhee, who remembered Taekkyeon from when he was young, said that Song's movements were the real traditional art. This public recognition was a very important moment. It showed that Taekkyeon was not gone. It had survived, kept alive in this one man. Song Duk-ki was born in 1893, and he had learned Taekkyeon when he was young, in the last years of the Joseon dynasty. He was one of the last masters who had practiced the art openly before the Japanese occupation. Throughout the long, dark years of colonial rule, he had kept the art alive, practicing in secret and keeping its techniques and ideas in his memory and in his body. He was a living connection to the best time of Taekkyeon. When he was found again, he was already an old man, but his spirit and his skill were just as strong. He became the last master of the old generation. The job before him was huge. He was basically the only person carrying a dying tradition. He started to teach a new generation of students, passing on the knowledge that he had protected for so long. One of his most dedicated students was a man named Shin Han-sung. Together, Song and Shin worked very hard to write down and organize the art of Taekkyeon. They carefully recorded every technique, every step, and every rule. They wanted to make sure that the art would never again be so close to disappearing. They were not just teaching a martial art, they were rebuilding a cultural treasure from memory. Their efforts were crucial. Shin Han-sung, using what he learned from Song Duk-ki, took on the huge task of putting the many scattered techniques into a structured way of teaching. This work was very important for the art's survival in the modern age, where formal ways of learning are expected. Thanks to the dedication of Song Duk-ki, who carried the flame through the darkness, and Shin Han-sung, who helped it burn brightly again, Taekkyeon was given a second chance. On June 1st, 1983, their hard work paid off. The South Korean government officially named Taekkyeon an important intangible cultural property of Korea, the first martial art ever to get this honor. With its official recognition as a national cultural treasure, Taekkyeon began an amazing journey of coming back to life. The designation brought with it government support and, even more importantly, a renewed sense of national pride in the art. Dojengs, or training halls, made only for Taekkyeon began to open across South Korea. What was once practiced in secret by just a few old men was now being taught openly to excited students of all ages. The gentle, rhythmic steps of the Pumbaalpki once again echoed in courtyards and training halls, no longer in secret, but with pride and celebration. The art was being reborn for a new time. The work of Songduk-ki and Shin Han-sung really built the foundation for this revival. The structured teaching plan they created made the art available to many more people. It allowed for a consistent and organized way of teaching the techniques that had once been passed down more informally. This has allowed Taekkyeon to spread not only throughout Korea, but also to other parts of the world. Today, there are Taekkyeon groups and practitioners in many countries, from the United States to France to Japan. The once forgotten Korean art is now finding a global audience, appreciated for its special beauty and cultural depth. A key part of this rebirth has been the effort to keep the art real. While it has been organized for modern teaching, great care has been taken to keep its original spirit. The focus stays on smoothness, balance, and the playful game-like nature of its sparring. Modern competitions still follow the old rules, where winning means making an opponent lose balance or landing a clear kick to the head. This commitment to tradition makes sure that as Taekkyeon grows, it doesn't lose what makes it so special. It is not just another sport, it is a living, breathing piece of cultural history. In 2011, Taekkyeon received its highest honor yet. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, put it on its list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. It was the first martial art in the world to be recognized in this way. This international recognition showed Taekkyeon's importance not just for Korea, but for all people. It celebrated the art as a tradition that promotes community, respect, and a unique way of moving your body. The forgotten dance of war had completed its journey from almost disappearing to being celebrated on the world stage. To truly understand Taekkyeon, one must listen to the people who practice it. I spoke with Master Kim, a man who has spent more than 30 years of his life on the art. He told me, "When I first saw Taekkyeon, I was a young man who thought martial arts were all about power and speed, but this was different. It was soft, almost like dancing. My first teacher, who learned from one of Songduk-ki's students, taught me that true strength is not in the fist, but in the flow. He would say, 'Do not fight the river, become the river.' This idea changed not just how I moved, but how I saw the world around me." I also met a young university student named Park Soo-jin. She has been practicing for 5 years. For her, Taekkyeon is a connection to who she is. She explained, her face bright with excitement. "In school, we learn about history from books, but when I practice Taekkyeon, I feel like I'm touching history. I'm moving in the same way that people moved hundreds of years ago. It makes me feel proud to be Korean. It is also a wonderful break from the stress of my studies. The rhythmic stepping calms my mind. It is a form of moving meditation for me, a way to find balance in my busy life." One of the most touching stories came from a father, Lee Min-jun, who practices alongside his 10-year-old son. He said with a gentle laugh, "I wanted my son to learn about our culture, not just K-pop and video games. Taekkyeon teaches him respect and discipline, but in a playful way. We practice the footwork together at home. It's a game for us. But he is also learning how to be patient, how to control his body, and how to get along with others without being aggressive. It has made us closer. It is something special that we share, a tradition that I hope he will one day pass on to his own children." These personal stories show the true heart of Taekkyeon. It is more than just a set of moves. For Master Kim, it is a way of life. For Soo-jin, it is a link to her past and a source of mental peace. For Min-jun and his son, it is a bond that connects generations. The art lives and breathes through these people. Each person who practices the Pumbaalpki step is a protector of this tradition, making sure that the legacy of Songduk-ki and the masters before him continues to flow like a river into the future. Their voices are the living pulse of this amazing martial art. Taekkyeon is much more than a way of fighting or a form of exercise. It is a deep expression of the Korean spirit. Its movements and ideas show a culture that values harmony, strength to bounce back, and a subtle, indirect way of doing things rather than brute force. The art shows the Korean idea of yumgungeki, which can be thought of as a mix of sticking with it, patience, and a quiet strength. It is the ability to handle tough times with grace and to get through challenges not by direct fighting, but by being smart and able to adapt. This idea is clear in every smooth step and tricky movement of the art. The art's connection to community and play is also deeply part of the Korean culture. Historically, Taekkyeon was not an art for lonely warriors, but a social activity that brought villages together. The friendly competitions, the playful shouts, gihap, and the shared enjoyment of skillful movement all show a culture that values community and shared experiences. Even today, as it is practiced in modern dojangs, this feeling of community stays strong. People who practice are not just training partners. They are part of a shared history, a family dedicated to keeping a common heritage alive. It creates a feeling of belonging that is deeply valued. The traditional clothes worn by Taekkyeon practitioners, the simple white hanbok, further show its cultural roots. This is not the uniform of a soldier, but the everyday clothing of the common people of old Korea. Wearing it is a clear choice to connect with the folk beginnings of the art. It is a visual reminder that Taekkyeon belongs to the people. When people who practice gather for shows at cultural festivals or in the grounds of old palaces, they are not just performing a martial art. They are reenacting a very important part of their history, bringing the soul of old Korea to life for modern people to see and appreciate. In a world that is quickly becoming modern, where global trends can often overshadow local traditions, Taekkyeon stands as a strong symbol of cultural identity. It is a clear link to a unique Korean way of being. It shows how a tradition survived against all odds, a story of strength that reflects the history of the Korean nation itself. To see Taekkyeon being practiced today is to see a piece of the Korean soul in motion. It is a dance of history, a game of ideas, and a testament to the lasting power of culture to define and unite a people across the centuries. The story of Taekkyeon is a powerful lesson in keeping things alive. It is a reminder that a culture's most precious treasures are not always made of stone or gold. Sometimes they are found in the movements of a dance, the wisdom of an idea, or the shared memory of a community. This art, which once did well in the open air, was forced into the shadows and almost disappeared from the world. Its survival is a testament to the quiet bravery of those who refuse to let it die. Most notably, the last master, Taekkyeon, who carried the tradition through the darkest of times. Today, the circle is unbroken. The knowledge passed to Taekkyeon is now shared with thousands of students in Korea and around the world. Yet the work of keeping it alive is never truly finished. In our fast-paced modern world, the pressures that threaten such traditions are always there. It is the job of the current generation of masters and students to be careful protectors of this art. They must make sure that its main ideas of smoothness, respect, and playfulness are not weakened or lost as it becomes more popular. They must continue to tell its story and share its special beauty with the world. Keeping Taekkyeon alive is about more than just protecting a martial art. It is about protecting a piece of our shared human history. The UNESCO recognition of Taekkyeon as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity highlights this point. It is a global treasure that offers a unique way of looking at movement, conflict, and community. Supporting its practice and teaching is an investment in different cultures. It makes sure that future generations will have the chance to experience this beautiful and deep expression of the human spirit, a tradition that teaches us that there is great strength to be found in gentleness. And so, The gentle, rhythmic dance continues. In dojangs in Seoul, in parks in Paris, and in community centers in Los Angeles, the pumbalbki step is practiced. A new generation is learning to sway like a willow tree, to kick with tricky power, and to laugh and play in the spirit of friendly competition. The whispering steps of this old art are growing louder, its story reaching new ears. It is our shared duty to listen, to learn, and to make sure that this beautiful dance of war and peace never falls silent again. The unbroken circle of Taekkyeon must continue to turn a living legacy for all time,